Well, it's a very warm welcome and thank you for joining me on this independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at St James's Park has just got underway. Referee Rob Jones has blown the whistle. The players took the knee and we are underway here at St James's Park between Newcastle United and Brentford. Two sides that really are in very poor form right now. Both teams need a win, especially when you consider just how Newcastle's form has been. They'll be desperate to get a good result here at home, and within 15 seconds of the kickoff, a long ball played towards the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Rico Henry tried to leave it to let it go out for a goal kick. Just gets a slight nick off Rico Henry, so Newcastle pretty much a gift inside the first 30 seconds. A corner kick to the home side. It's going to be whipped in by Matt Ritchie towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed up in the air by Paul Szczerbakowicz. Second ball drops to Sam Maximan. He tries to get the ball back into the box, flicked away by Norgard. Shelvey then with a header back towards the Brentford penalty area before the ball is eventually cleared towards the halfway line by Newcastle in possession now with Sam Maximan. Rolls the ball over towards the right-hand side. It's picked up now by Fabian Schär. So I'll just remind you of the 2-11s. It's Karl Darlow in goal for Newcastle. A back three of Fabian Schär, Jamal Lascelles and Kieran Clark. The four across the middle are Jacob Murphy, Joe Willock, John Joe Shelvey and Matt Ritchie, with Joelinton, Alan Saint-Maximin and Callum Wilson as the three up front for Brentford. It is Alvaro Fernandez in goal with a back three of Matt Ritchie, Pontus Jansson and Ethan Pinnock. Sergi Canos and Rico Henry are the two wide men. The three in midfield are Christian Norgard, Sam Godos and Vitaly Janelt, with Ivan Toney and Brian Mbuemo as the two up front. The ball now played back towards Brentford goalkeeper Alvaro Fernandez, who needs a good performance after making the best start here, deputising for goalkeeper David Raya, who is out at least until April with a knee injury. A couple of minutes on the clock here, and better start here for Newcastle, that's for sure. Sergi Canos just given a free kick away there on the halfway line. Referee Rob Jones feeling that Canos just had a bit of a raised foot there as he was jumping with there with Kieran Clark. Now the ball played back towards Karl Darlow. Over towards the left-hand side now. Pressure there on Clark, and Brentford win the ball back in now with Mbuemo. Just got away from him, and Willock now rolls the ball towards Sam Maximan, and Newcastle can try and attack now down the right-hand side as Murphy plays the ball down the right channel here for Joelinton, who slips just as he was trying to take on Ethan Pinnock, but then Pinnock gives the ball away back to Joelinton. And a chance now to get the cross in. Joelinton's ball in, and it's a header from Wilson, which is just wide. Glorious chance there for Newcastle to take the lead inside 3 minutes. And that was after Brentford had initially dealt with the danger after a ball was played to the edge of the box. Pinnock won the ball back from Joelinton, then pretty much just gave it away to Jacob Murphy. Murphy left it for Joelinton. It's a good ball in. Wilson gets there ahead of Lascelles, who's a right back really. He's playing in that back three because of injury problems for Brentford. And he gets beaten in the air quite easily. But the Bees now on the attack down the left-hand side with Mbuemo. He gets to the edge of the area, rolls the ball back towards Rico Henry. Back to Mbuemo. Couple of options here. He tried to get a ball down that left-hand side. Yeah, loses the ball, and it's actually been given as a throw to Newcastle. So it's a busy 3 o'clock in the Premier League. Shea Adams, by the way, gets the first goal in the 3 p.m. kickoffs this afternoon. It's Norwich City 0, Southampton 1. So not the start that Dean Smith was looking for at his new club, of course. Dean Smith now a manager at Norwich City. And the other games all available on our service. Aston Villa, Brighton, Burnley, Palace, Watford, Manchester United, Wolves, West Ham, as well as this game and the game I mentioned between Norwich and Southampton. All those games available on our service, as is the late game this evening, the small matter of Liverpool taking on Arsenal. But here come Newcastle now down the left-hand side with Alan Saint-Maximin. Gets to the edge of there. He's got support from Matt Ritchie, chooses to go himself, then runs straight into Vitaly Janelt and trips him. And it is going to be a free kick to the visitors as Saint-Maximin just trying to explain himself there to Matt Ritchie. I'm not sure he's got much of an explanation, if I'm honest. I think that there was plenty of time to try and get that ball towards Ritchie over on the left-hand side. Alvaro Fernandez now plays the ball over towards Rico Henry. But Newcastle have done their homework as far as Brentford are concerned. They really are pressing very high up the field and making it difficult for the Bees to play out from the back. But Henry does get the ball towards the halfway line and plays the ball down the left channel now for Ivan Toney. Toney, of course, had an unsuccessful spell here at St James's Park and would love to be able to get a goal here this afternoon, but the ball into the Newcastle penalty area. It's cleared by Lascelles. I think he might have got a deflection off Mbeumo as well. I'm sure this has been given as a Brentford throw down the left-hand side. I think it's just going to be Newcastle. Oh, it is. And it's going to be Jacob Murphy to try and get this ball away from his own penalty area. Long throw now from Murphy, headed up in the air. Out for a throw to Brentford this time. So the Bees can try and build a little bit of possession here inside the Newcastle half after a great start for the Geordies, getting a corner kick inside 15 seconds, and then that header from Callum Wilson pretty much on 3 minutes. Ethan Pinnock is up to take the throw. Not a long throw though. He gets the ball back here from Godos. It's then kept in play here by Joelinton. But Pinnock keeps it alive, finds Godos, who gets the ball towards Mbeumo into the penalty area. Mbeumo finds Canos. Canos flicks that ball towards goal, and it just squirms away from Karl Darlow, but it's also just wide. But Brentford did well there to try and get a ball into the penalty area. As Godos, just a quick exchange there with Pinnock. And then when that ball was played to Canos, there was a defender just in front of him. You have to give credit to Matt Ritchie diving across just to try and disrupt Canos as much as possible. And that proved to be successful as Canos' flick with the outside of the boot just goes wide. Can tell you that there's an equaliser. It's been a bright start at Carrow Road. It's Norwich 1, Southampton 1. So Norwich conceding very early on in Dean Smith's tenure as manager, but very quickly getting an equaliser. I can tell you that Kiko Femenia has put Watford in front against Manchester United. I think that was from the penalty spot as well, just to confirm that. It wasn't, in fact, it was Ismail Assar who missed the penalty, and then it looks like it may have been the rebound that was played into the back of the net there by Kiko Femenia. It was Timu Pukki that got the equaliser for Norwich against Southampton here at St James's Park. Ryan Mbeumo and Joe Willock just getting tangled, and Willock slides in and takes out Sergi Canos. Just a free kick, I think, at this stage. Referee Rob Jones not too concerned about showing a yellow card. And a free kick to Brentford. Newcastle, of those set up quite high with their offside line, just to make it that little bit more difficult for the Bees to get the ball into the box. It is Norgard's ball, played to the edge of the area, headed away by Lascelles, picked up here on the left-hand side now, and whipped into the box by Rico Henry on his weaker right foot, headed out for a throw. So after a really bright start here from Newcastle, the last few minutes, Brentford just starting to get into their stride, trying to get a bit more attacking possession. Once again, Ethan Pinnock is up to take a throw, but they do this quite often, Brentford. They bring up Pinnock, who has got a very long throw on him, and then half the time it's just for deception. But this time it is a longer throw from Pinnock, just over the head of Ivan Toney, and then a bit of a miscued clearance there in the end from Lascelles. He didn't have to rush it as much as he did, so it's going to be a throw to Brentford, still inside the Newcastle half, down the left-hand side. You can see there Amanda Stavely on our screens. Sure that she's aware of the fact that there's always going to be camera presence, whichever ground she's at, whether it's home or away. Big attention now on Newcastle, of course, with this new ownership, and they need to start getting some points on the board. Another goal to tell you about in the 3 o'clock Premier League kickoffs. It's Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. Christian Benteke with the goal for Palace. But here come Newcastle now with Joelinton down the right-hand side. Brentford players can't stop him, and in the end gets a strike away, which deflects out for a corner. Looks like it was Norgard that deflected that ball out for a corner kick in the end. So Matt Ritchie is over to take this one on the right-hand side. See that Fabian Schär, amongst others, is into the penalty area. Just waiting to see where his teammates might be setting up. It's going to be Ritchie now to whip this one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed into the back of the net by Jamal Lascelles. There's virtually no marking there whatsoever as Lascelles jumps up. It's a good header. It's into the bottom corner, and Jason Tyndall there, Eddie Howe's assistant, looks very pleased seeing that one go into the back of the net. But Newcastle take the lead on 10 minutes. It's just a long run from Joelinton down the right-hand side. He won his side a corner after his strike deflected out, and it was whipped in by Ritchie. Lascelles jumping, and it's a good header, but really, I mean, he's clearly the biggest threat in that box. and nobody's marking, and Pontus Jansson is jumping up, not marking anybody at all, and it's all a little bit too easy for Lascelles. He still has to get there, and it's a really good header right off the post and into the back of the net, but not the start that Brentford wanted, the exact start that Newcastle wanted. They've been angling for a goal pretty much since the first minute. So now we'll see what sort of response we're going to get from the visitors. Newcastle, of course, will be looking to try and kick on from here, but it's a long clearance now down the middle. Toney heads it on to Mbeumo, and it's played back to Toney. Now Sergi Canos gets away there from Willock, finds Ivan Toney in the box. Toney strikes it. Oh, it's a mistake from Karl Darlow. And inside a minute, Brentford have equalised here at St James's Park, and it is that man Ivan Toney who was desperate to try and get a goal at St James's Park, having had an unsuccessful period here earlier in his career. But the unsuccessful person in that last move has got to be the Newcastle goalkeeper. What is Karl Darlow doing there? It's a strike pretty much straight at him, and it goes through his body and into the back of the net. And that is really disappointing. It's from the kickoff. Brentford play the ball back to goalkeeper Alvaro Fernandez. It's a long clearance from him, headed on by Ivan Toney. And Mbeumo back to Toney. Ritchie gets in the way of that. Willock then collides with Sergi Canos. He stays down on the ground. And then it's a strike from Toney. And what on earth is Karl Darlow doing there? It's almost like he's crouched down to stop the ball. And can catch it, but it sort of slides away from his hands and goes into the back of the net. It's a very, very strange way to try and stop that strike. He misjudges it completely there, the Newcastle goalkeeper. And within a minute of Newcastle taking the lead, Brentford have equalised. It's 1-1 now at St James's Park. There's still a few games that are goalless in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. It is Villa 0, Brighton 0, and it is Watford. Just confirming as well, I did see that Watford had scored, but it looks as though Kiko Femenya's goal was... looks like Kiko Femenya's goal was disallowed in the end. Try and find out exactly what's happened there, of course, but back here at St James's Park, it is 12 minutes gone. Newcastle 1, Brentford 1. And a confirmation that goal for Watford was disallowed in the end. Looks as though the penalty had to be retaken, but we'll get details on that later in the half. Meanwhile, here at St James's Park, it's Brentford in possession down the left-hand side. Henry couldn't quite keep the ball in play, though it is out now for a throw to Newcastle. And once again, as soon as that goal against Newcastle scored, camera focusing straight away on the new owners. But the visitors now pressing as Karl Darlow is put under pressure. This is what Brentford need to do now, is put pressure on this goalkeeper who's clearly not in the best of form. It was a very strange way to try and make the save there, Darlow. Didn't look like he was comfortable with it at all. But here come Newcastle now down the left-hand side of ball play to Saint-Maximin. Roslev puts it out for a throw. First time we see Thomas Frank this afternoon. He would have been very relieved to see his side get such a quick equaliser, considering that they conceded a pretty tame goal, really. Here is Sam Godos now. Iranian international just stopped on the halfway line. Newcastle are now back in possession here with Fabian Schär. Over towards Jacob Murphy now on the right-hand side. Murphy plays it forward to Joelinton. He backheels it, but that one is out of play. Out for a throw to Newcastle now down the right-hand side. Jacob Murphy waiting to take this one. Gets it into Joelinton. Joelinton now back towards the halfway line. And it's Kieran Clark to Matt Ritchie. As the home side now once again trying to exert a bit more dominance. Would have been thrown by that very quick equaliser for Brentford. Ritchie now under pressure, going back towards the halfway line. Kieran Clark also under pressure there from Toney and Mbeumo. Over now to Schär on the right-hand side, heading towards the penalty area. Now it's Jacob Murphy, puts a cross into the box. It's headed towards goal, but it's just wide in the end. Looks as though Saint-Maximin and Callum Wilson got in each other's way there a little bit as that ball was played in. Murphy had space to pick out a cross. It's a good floating ball in. And I actually think that Wilson should have left that one for Saint-Maximin. He was backing into it, the Newcastle number 9. I think that from that position, it looked to me as though Saint-Maximin was in a better position to try and attack that one. As the linesman just telling off Jason Tyndall for getting a little bit too close to the touchline there. Tyndall and Eddie Howe reunited back at St James's Park. I'm sure Eddie Howe will be watching this game with interest, hoping that his side can get back to some sort of dominance that they had in the early stages of this game. Maximan is brought down. Janelt collides with him, and Joe Willock is now trying to get the referee's attention here. That this is the third time that Janelt has committed a foul already in these first 15 minutes. As we can see, Sam Maximan, it's a bit of a clumsy, a late one there from Janelt, a bit of a lazy trailing leg there, trying to stop Sam Maximan. Couldn't do it in the end, and a free kick to Newcastle. Down the left-hand side, Ritchie and Shelvey are standing over this one. It's too far away and a little bit too much of an angle to try and shoot, but they can certainly whip a good ball in here. It is over on the left-hand side, so you would imagine that right-footed Shelvey better suited, but he leaves it for Ritchie. Ritchie now puts a ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box. That's a good claim, though. Alvaro Fernandez comes out and catches that one. Up on his feet quickly as well, trying to restart play for Brentford, but in the end he prefers to just wait to see where all the opposition players position themselves. He then throws one out to Rico Henry, to Sam Godos, back to Rico Henry. He collides with Jacob Murphy, but Brentford still keep the move alive, and eventually the referee decided there was no advantage, and that will be a free kick to the Bees. You can see from the reaction of Joe Willock that he doesn't necessarily agree with that decision, but it is a free kick to Brentford, taken short. Ball now played back towards Pontus Jansson, who's recently off the injured list, but there's still plenty of first-team players in that Brentford injured list. Visser, Jorgensen, De Silva, Sorensen, Raya and Ager all still missing for the Bees. And now the ball back with goalkeeper Karl Darlow. He'll be hoping to make a regulation save, a more textbook save at some point, that just to try and get himself back on an even keel. That really was an unusual way to try and stop the ball when Toney struck it pretty much straight at him. And it was almost like he put his hands out and the ball just swerved away from him. He misjudged it completely. But a free kick to Newcastle now, as the long ball was played to Joelinton, and Pinnock just holding on to Joelinton for too long there. Too obvious as well. There's always defenders always trying to get a little bit of an advantage in that situation, but you've got to be a little bit more subtle than that. And it is a free kick now to Newcastle, taken by Fabian Schär. Brentford playing quite a high offside line, headed away by Pinnock, but the loose ball now drops to Callum Wilson. He tees it up for Jacob Murphy. Godos very nearly trips Jacob Murphy, but Murphy stays on his feet. He goes back towards John Joe Shelvey. His cross charged down by Godos. Out for a throw to Newcastle down the right-hand side. Shelvey to take this one, is he? He's just backed away a little bit, leaves this one now for Jacob Murphy. Murphy back towards Joelinton. And once again, Brentford just sitting back quite deep. And now they're pressing forward as Joe Willock's caught in possession. This was a great chance for Brentford to go on the counter, and it's a bit of a slip from Lascelles. He plays the ball straight through to Mbeumo, and Mbeumo breaks into the box. It's off the post, and it's in the back of the net. And Brentford take a 2-1 lead. On 18 minutes here, the flag has gone up, so it may well be that the move has been deemed as offside. We'll see from a replay in a moment. The move was finished off, so as far as I'm concerned, that if it turns out there is no offside, then the goal should still be given. Ooh, that's very, very close. And Mbeumo plays that ball to Ivan Toney. Toney misses it, and then the ball hits the post, hits Toney, and goes into the back of the net. We're just waiting to see whether has play been restarted already, or are we still waiting to see whether or not there's going to be a VAR decision. In any case, Burnley in the meantime have equalised against Crystal Palace. Burnley 1, Palace 1. Ben Mee with the goal for Burnley. We are back underway here, so the offside must have been checked by VAR, and it was very close, but in the end, Toney was offside, and a long ball played up towards Callum Wilson now, down the right-hand side edge of the area, floats across in. He was looking for Joe Willock, at once headed away by Vitaly Janelt, and out for a corner to Newcastle down the right-hand side. Okay, just opening up a little bit now at St James's Park, and it's once again Matt Ritchie across to take this corner kick. It's got a few options here, Ritchie. We'll just wait to see where he wants to put this ball. He's just waiting to see where Cher and Lascelles have positioned themselves. They're always big targets for Newcastle inside the penalty area. Ritchie puts a lot of height on this one, looking for Lascelles. It just gets away from him. There might still be a chance for Joelinton. The ball is cleared by Canos up towards the halfway line. Jacob Murphy is the last man covering for Newcastle. He plays a diagonal ball back towards the edge of the penalty area. Just gets away from Callum Wilson, but the ball's still kept alive here by Joelinton. He's about 35 yards out. Square to John Joe Shelvey. Ritchie still over on that right-hand side from the corner. Plays a quick 1-2 with Joelinton. Gets the ball back, feeds that ball into the area, and there may still be a chance for Wilson to get the strike. He's charged down by Canos. Loose ball now with Saint-Maximin. He gets a strike away, but that one's down the middle, and it's a comfortable save for Alvaro Fernandez in the end. No problems with that one, but did look for a moment as though things could just be getting a little bit busy in front of the Brentford goalkeeper there, as Saint-Maximin got his shot away. He was almost like he was hoping for a deflection there just to try and wrong-foot the goalkeeper. In the end, it rolled straight through towards Alvaro Fernandez. It's a throw to Newcastle now down the right-hand side. Canos couldn't quite keep the ball in play, just trying to get Brentford back on a counter-attack. And Newcastle now just playing out from the back here with Kieran Clark towards Joe Willock. Square now to Saint-Maximin, being closed down by Roslev. Roslev then wins that ball back, and all of a sudden Brentford are on the attack here now down the right-hand side. It's Toney's ball in, looking for Mbeumo, but that one is played out for a corner. Chance here now for the Bees to try and put a bit of pressure on. Just looking, did that get a deflection off the defender in the end? It looked as though we were going to be getting a corner kick, but it's not to be. It's just a goal kick. Looks like the final touch must have been off a Brentford man. As we can see, Jason Tyndall looking on. Been delighted with the start his side have made, but since then things have just been a little bit more rocky for Newcastle, with that Brentford equaliser and potentially a Brentford goal to go 2-1 up, although the offside flag saving Newcastle on that occasion. It's Ethan Pinnock now under pressure from Joelinton, going all the way back towards Alvaro Fernandez, who slices his square ball to Roslev. Roslev just about gets it in play, but his pass to Canos wasn't the best, and somehow Brentford get away with that one, with Janelt clearing it just as Joe Willock was closing him down. Now for a throw to Newcastle down the left-hand side. It's with Matt Ritchie. Gets that ball in towards Saint-Maximin. Robbed of it by Roslev, and then a long ball from Canos over the top. Is too high there for Ivan Toney. Clark should get there first. He plays it back to Darlow. There is some pressing here from Mbeumo and from Janelt as well, but Willock is able to cope with that. Gets the ball up towards the halfway line. Roslev wins that back for Brentford though, and now it's with Nørgaard going back towards Pontus Jansson. Jansson to Toney, and there was a foul there in midfield. That's a strong challenge there, and that's going to be a free kick. It might also be the first booking of the game as well. Fabian Cher was wagging the finger towards the referee as if to say that's only his first foul. I think the Swiss international may get away with it. I don't think he's going to get a yellow card straight away for this one, but Rob Jones is just giving him a quick lecture there as to what was wrong with that last foul. It's probably just a little bit too far out for Brentford to be thinking about a shot, but it's a clumsy one from Cher. And actually, looking at that replay, I think he might be quite lucky not to have got a booking, because it was quite late. It was nowhere near the ball, really. But a couple of Brentford players are standing over this one. It is over on the right-hand side, so it may well suit the left footer if we're going to see a shot towards goal. It's probably just about within range. Maybe a couple of yards closer, Janelt would have preferred, and in fact he steps away from it now, so it looks like it's going to be a right-footed ball into the box here from Sam Canos. It may well be that Canos just rolls it to Janelt. In the end, Janelt steps away. Newcastle setting up at the edge of the area with their offside line now, but Canos floats that ball towards the back post. It's a wasted free kick in the end. The idea was, I think, to play it towards Ethan Pinnock, who was coming in on the left-hand side. Ivan Toney was deliberately stood about 5 yards offside to try and cause a bit of a distraction in the middle of the penalty area. But in the end, the pass from Canos was overhit by a couple of yards anyway. So it made little to no difference as to what was happening in the middle of the penalty area. And Waiting now for Karl Darlow to restart play. Long clearance from the Newcastle goalkeeper, but Nørgaard wins that for Brentford, plays it up to Toney. Toney leaves it here from Mbeumo. Mbeumo breaking into the penalty area now down the left-hand side. Holding it up here, he's got Share for company. Plays it back now towards Rico Henry. Three Brentford players in and around the penalty area. Henry flicks this to Mbeumo. He volleys it across goal. It drops to Toney, who from 5 yards is stopped on the line. It's Fabian Schär that stops that ball going in. It's really good play there from Schär as well. So the ball goes out for a throw to Brentford now down the right-hand side. But that was a great chance for the Bees to go 2-1 up. It's Mbeumo. The ball was flicked to him by Rico Henry. Then he volleys it across goal. Darlow, not the strongest hand there, just palms it away a couple of yards in front of him. And Toney's strike towards goal was certainly heading goal-bound had it not been for the defender there, Schär, getting in the way. Throw to Brentford now down the right-hand side. Janout's ball into the box is headed away, back into midfield. And Rico Henry now forced to go back towards goalkeeper Alvaro Fernandez. Fernandez now with the ball over the top, headed forward by Matt Ritchie. And Ritchie gets the ball back there from Sam Maximan. He's brought down by Sergi Canos. That will be a free kick to Newcastle. Ritchie's unhappy there as well. It was a bit of a clumsy one there from Canos. And the ball now back in play. Although the referee has decided that it needs to be taken again. I think Rob Jones, our referee, deciding that ball was still in motion. So John Joe Shelby now takes the free kick a second time, looking for Sam Maximan at the edge of the area. He's under pressure there from Roslev, and Roslev sticks with him and puts the ball out for a corner kick in the end. Meanwhile, it's all change in the game at Turf Moor. Palace led against Burnley early on, but now an equalised at first. Well, it was Benteke that put Palace in front, then Ben Mee equalised for Burnley, and now it's Chris Wood on 27 minutes putting Burnley 2-1 up. Josh King has put Watford up against Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer promised the media there'd be a reaction from United today. Well, so far Watford have had a goal disallowed, and they've now taken the lead. So doesn't sound like there's been much of a reaction at Vicarage Road so far. Meanwhile, here at St James's Park, 27.5 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. It's Newcastle United 1, Brentford 1, and Willock now trying to break into the box down the right-hand side, stopped by Pinnock. A second cross coming in, headed away by Nørgaard. Still kept alive here by the home side. It's with John Joe Shelby. Over towards the left-hand side now for Sam Maximan. His cross into the box, headed away by Ethan Pinnock. The ball now back towards John Joe Shelby. He tried to get a strike towards goal, but the ball is now played back towards goalkeeper Karl Darlow. Steps a long way out from his penalty area. Plays the ball over the top, which is chased by Joelinton, but diving across there is Alvaro Fernandez. Brentford goalkeeper claims that no problem at all. So just still the two goalless games in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Villa against Brighton and Wolves against West Ham have yet to see a goal. It's a long clearance now from Brentford keeper Alvaro Fernandez. He picks out Mbeumo. Over to Canos down the right-hand side. Janout now on the halfway line, playing it back towards Pontus Jansson. Jansson's ball forward. Toney plays it first time. A long ball over the top here for Canos to chase. And Ritchie doesn't get a deflection off Canos like he would have liked there. So we'll throw on to Brentford now. Level with the edge of the Newcastle penalty area. And it's Mads Roslev across to take this one. Goes back towards Pontus Jansson. Looking up, playing one into the edge of the area, headed away by Joe Willock, but it drops to Godos. That's a poor ball from Godos, trying to find Janout. Easily picked off here by John Joe Shelby. And Jacob Murphy now down the right-hand side finds Joelinton. Does really well to just dance away from Rico Henry, but then his pass down the right-hand side. Oh, it's been kept in by Joe Willock, and suddenly Newcastle have got a couple of men over here inside the penalty area. Willock just slows his run down, plays it back. towards Joelinton. His ball into the box is only partially cleared. It ends up with Shelvey. Shelvey finds Callum Wilson inside the penalty area. Wilson doesn't get a shot away first time. The ball then finds Wilson at the edge of the area, but his strike towards goal is straight at Alvaro Fernandez. Comfortable save for the Bees keeper in the end. He's not had too much to do really in terms of any kind of exertion really, apart from that the goal, which pretty much he was rooted to the spot anyway, was a strong header from Lascelles. And apart from that, he's had a couple of regulation saves really, shots going straight down the middle, catching a couple of crosses. But now a bit of a midfield fight there between Janelt and Willock. It's Janelt that comes away with the ball for Brentford. Plays it to Mbuemo, back to Janelt. This is about 35 yards out from Newcastle's goal now. Janelt plays a long diagonal ball to pick out Canos, who does well to take it down. And it's Canos' ball into the box. Arriving at the far post is Rico Henry. And Brentford take the lead on 31 minutes. And it's Rico Henry arriving at the far post, heading the ball in. Brentford, there was a patient build-up from the Bees this time. And on 31 minutes, it's Newcastle United 1, Brentford 2. And that's a travelling contingent from West London will be delighted with this, although it's right at the other end from when they're stood and where they're sat in this first half. They won't mind that at all. And Thomas Frank looks like a much happier man now on that Brentford bench as well. It all starts in midfield here with Toney playing it back to Janelt. Lovely ball from Janelt to find Canos. Canos takes it down and then whips the ball in with his weaker left foot, but it's a great cross from Canos, and it's a great header from Rico Henry. It's not the first player you'd think of arriving at the far post in an attacking move, but it's a good header. Bravely jumps pretty much to where Karl Darlow is stood, and heads the ball into the back of the net. Newcastle very guilty there of not marking Henry at all. Nobody even had anything to do to try and stop him there. And Henry delighted with that one. Stats will tell you that Newcastle have had 55% possession to Brentford's 45. Newcastle leading 3-2 in terms of shots on target. Newcastle having a better passing accuracy with more passes than Brentford as well. Only marginally, but it's still, they are edging it statistically here in this first half, the home side. But with 13 minutes to go in the first half, it is Newcastle United 1, Brentford 2. And so far, this new era with the new owners and the new manager, albeit the new manager Eddie Howe isn't here today, but he certainly would have had some input into the team selection. And I'm sure he'll be in a regular communication. If he's not got an earpiece to Jason Tindall, I'm sure there'll be a line of communication between the manager and the bench this afternoon. And so they say that line of communication just got a little bit more busy now after that Brentford goal. But here come the Bees again now with Janelt. He finds Mbuemo. And Brentford are just growing into the game a bit more now as well in the last minute, despite seeing less of the ball. Just get the feeling that they're a little bit more comfortable in possession and in terms of how they're moving the ball around compared to the first 10 minutes. But that bright start for Newcastle just seemed to throw Brentford. But the fact that they got that equaliser so quickly, I just think acted as a bit of an injection of confidence here for the visitors. There's a long ball played now towards Callum Wilson. Does really well to keep that ball away from Pontus Jansson. And then Willock plays it out towards Sam Maximan. He breaks into the penalty area on the left-hand side. Switching play now over towards the right. Picks out Jacob Murphy. It's a left-footed strike from Murphy, which goes wide in the end. Murphy thinks that it's blatant that it should be a corner kick there. I have to say, it did look to me as though the ball deviated just slightly after that strike from Jacob Murphy. I'd love to see a replay of that just to see whether or not the Newcastle wide man has got any... I think so. I think that deflects off Rico Henry there. Looks like it flicks off the boot of the Brentford goal scorer, but no, not to be. No corner. Got around 11 minutes to go until half-time. Newcastle United 1, Brentford 2. Running through the other scores, it's still goalless between Villa and Brighton. Burnley 2, Palace 1. Norwich 1, Southampton 1. Watford 1, Manchester United 0. And Wolves 0, West Ham 0. Still to come, Liverpool against Arsenal later this evening. 2 games in the Premier League tomorrow as well. Manchester City against Everton at 2 o'clock. I shall be back on commentary for that one. And then Spurs against Leeds United is the 4:30 kick-off tomorrow. It's now a long ball played towards the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Pontus Jansson doesn't want to take any chances, just heads that one straight out for a throw. Matt Ritchie is across to take this one now. It's level with the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Ritchie's ball in towards Saint-Maximin. He plays it back to Ritchie, but Janelt gets in the way. And now Mbeumo is back at the edge of his own penalty area, trying to play Brentford out from the back. Switches play towards Henry on the left-hand side. He goes back to Pinnock. And Alvaro Fernandez rushed into his clearance there slightly. Puts it at a bit of an angle, and it goes out for a throw to Newcastle, but they go straight back towards the halfway line now, and it's Cher's ball to the edge of the area. Shelvey had got forward. It doesn't quite reach in, but looks like Callum Wilson was caught there at the edge of the area. He goes down holding his knee. Referee Rob Jones says no free kick, but then a free kick is given on the halfway line for when Lascelles clatters into Ivan Toney. So it is going to be a free kick to the Bees now. We've got a fourth goal to tell you about at Turf Moor. It's Burnley 2, Crystal Palace 2, and Benteke has got his second goal of the afternoon in that one. So it's 2-2 now between Burnley and Palace. Can tell you as well, just dipping into the Championship very briefly, that Fulham are now 2 up against Barnsley. It's Fabio Carvalho who scored the goal for Fulham, the second goal for Fulham, but it was Mitrovic who scored the first, who really is in some golden goal-scoring form right now. Of course, it was Mitrovic's late goal that put Serbia into the World Cup and threw Portugal into the playoffs. But here come Brentford now. Chance here for Toney to strike it at the edge of the area. Just a quick counter-attack, and the ball was played through towards Toney, and he sort of hit it on the run, tried to sort of hit it on a bit of an angle there with the left foot, but the strike pretty much straight down the middle. What's interesting, we just saw Jason Tindall disappear off into the tunnel and come back a couple of minutes later. Now, was that him perhaps taking a phone call? Because he's gone straight to Graham Jones to discuss something with him. So potentially it may well be that the Newcastle's new assistant was perhaps getting some information there from Newcastle's new manager. Watching from afar this afternoon, having to self-isolate Eddie Howe. As Brentford lose possession there, Nurgaard with a bit of a heavy touch, and now it's Ritchie playing that ball forward to Saint-Maximin. There's a heavy touch from Saint-Maximin as well. Roslev is able to dispossess him, but Newcastle still keep possession alive. Shelvey goes out towards Murphy down the right-hand side. Murphy's ball into Wilson, doesn't really make any kind of contact with the ball, and then it's Canos' clearance down the right-hand side. The ball reaching the halfway line, but straight to Kieran Clark. Newcastle back in possession. Now we're playing it back towards Lascelles, and he goes back to Darlow. Darlow finding a Cher down the right-hand side. Cher crossing the halfway line. He finds Joelinton, and now Willock square to Shelvey. Over towards Saint-Maximin on the left-hand side, breaking into the penalty area, skips away from Canos and plays it back to Shelvey, who's at the edge of the D. He tees it up now for Cher, who strikes one. That's closed down by Janelt. That's a good block from Vitaly Janelt as well. The ball now back on the halfway line here with Kieran Clark. Newcastle still keeping this possession alive. Clark finds Willock, who's got a lot of space in midfield there in front of the Brentford penalty area. Willock then looks up and plays one over towards the right-hand side. Bit of space here now for Murphy, but he looks like he had time to get the cross in, but he prefers to go back towards John Joe Shelvey. Shelvey then finds Saint-Maximin, who's breaking into the box from the left-hand side, gets a strike away, which deflects into the path of Joelinton, and he absolutely slams that one into the back of the net. Newcastle are level on 39 minutes. Just too much time there for Joelinton. It was building up for a couple of minutes, that Newcastle move. It has to be said that Brentford had a couple of chances to try and clear the ball. They never really got rid of it far enough, and when the ball is played back into the penalty area, it's Joelinton with the strike. Drills that one low past Alvaro Fernandez, and it's 2-2 now with around 6 minutes to go before half-time. As we'll see, John Joe Shelvey spots Saint-Maximin. Too much space for Saint-Maximin down the left-hand side. He puts it onto his right foot, strikes it. It's only partially blocked by Roslev. And then when the ball finds Joelinton, you have to say it's a quick touch from Joelinton, and then it's a quick strike. But Brentford will be disappointed. I think they couldn't deal with this a little bit better. That said, it's a very quick reaction there from Joelinton, and it's a really good finish as well. He really drills that one low into the bottom corner, giving Alvaro Fernandez absolutely no chance. So it's proving to be a goal glut here in the first half at St James's Park. We've still got 5.5 minutes to play, and it's Newcastle United 2, Brentford 2. Waiting for a play to restart. Can't imagine there was any VAR check. Probably just took a couple of seconds longer to get that ball back to the centre circle. But we are back underway now, and a long clearance now towards the edge of the Newcastle penalty area, aimed at Brian Mbeumo. That one's cleared back into midfield. Rico Henry plays another ball towards Mbeumo down that left-hand side. Joelinton is back there helping out in defence. He heads it out for a throw. So it's still Watford 1, Manchester United 0. And that's after Watford had missed a penalty in that first half as well. Manchester United have had one effort on target in the whole of the first half. So problems still, it would seem, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side. But here at St James's Park now, it's Brentford in possession with Sam Ghoddos about 30 yards from goal. Plays it back to Nørgaard. He plays it square to Roslev, who tees up a strike. Roslev's strike gets a big deflection along the way. But that one is back with Kieran Clark now. And he's got time to clear this one down the left-hand side. It's a poor ball, though, from Clark. Goes straight out for a throw when he could have tried to pick out to Saint-Maximin. Brentford then make a mess of the throw and give the ball straight back to Newcastle. And it's Joelinton now finding Joe Shelvey. And it's Saint-Maximin who's got Willock ahead of him. That's where the ball has gone. Willock breaks into the box. Great challenge there from Ethan Pinnock. You've got to get that absolutely spot-on timing-wise, because if you get it wrong, it's a nailed-on penalty and potentially a red card as well. But Pinnock just gets that left foot in there ahead of Willock. And as we were seeing a replay of that challenge, Newcastle took the throw and Janelt deflects the ball out for a corner. So with 4 minutes still to play in this first half, it's Newcastle United now with a corner from the left-hand side. Joe Shelvey is across to take this one. It's the fifth corner kick of this first half. Newcastle have had all of them. Here comes Shelby's ball now towards the back post. It's headed away by Ethan Pinnock, and then there's a really strong challenge there from Sam Ghoddos on Joe Willock. This is going to be our first booking in this first half, I would guess. And although Sam Ghoddos is trying to argue his case, I don't think referee Rob Jones is buying it, and Ghoddos is going to pick up a yellow card. So you see, that's a bad challenge there from Ghoddos. He is more of an attacking midfielder, but even the most attack-minded player's got to do better there. He's pretty much just kicked Willock there with the ball being nowhere near him. So it's a pretty straightforward decision, I think, for the referee to show the Iranian international the yellow card. Becomes the first player to go into the book. That's despite the fact that we've already seen 5 fouls each committed by both sides. It's a free kick to Newcastle now over on the right-hand side. Certainly within range to try and whip a ball in here. Left-footed Ritchie and right-footed Shelvey are there. And it's Shelvey's ball this time towards the back post, headed up in the air by Ethan Pinnock. There's a second ball there potentially after Fernandez has missed it. And it's a strike stopped on the line by Ivan Toney. Fernandez made a mess of that one, and the ball was pretty much heading into the back of the net after a touch from Callum Wilson, but Ivan Toney back inside his own 6-yard box, fixing the problem as now Darlow comes out for a long ball that Murphy beats him to it, and there was, for a moment there, it looked as though Murphy and Darlow were going to be left in no man's land with Mbeumo getting there ahead of them, but Newcastle just about get a handle on the ball in midfield, and that's a good diagonal ball from Shelvey to find Saint-Maximin. He's heading towards the edge of the area. Saint-Maximin with the strike. He lifts it over the bar, and it's away for a goal kick. Meanwhile, the plot thickens at Vicarage Road. It's now Watford 2, Manchester United 0. So I sometimes think that managers, to say that comment from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you always remember when managers say things like that. They predict things or they promise things in a game that you just can't promise. You never know exactly how things are going to go, and that really is a very disappointing result for United if it stays like that. I can tell you that there's been a third goal for Palace at Turf Moor. It's now Burnley 2, Crystal Palace 3, and it's centre-back Mark Guecki with the goal for Palace. So it's been, other than the game at Villa Park and the game at Molineux, apart from those two games in the West Midlands, everywhere else in the Premier League this afternoon is seeing plenty of goals. We've had 5 goals at Turf Moor, we've had 4 goals here. 4 goals here at St James's Park. So as well as 2 goals at Carrow Road and 2 goals at Vicarage Road as well. But with 30 seconds of normal time left to play here in this first half, here come Newcastle now down the left-hand side as Lascelles puts a good challenge in. Out for a throw. Well, it's a throw to Brentford in the end. I'm quite surprised by that. So are the Newcastle players. They were expecting a throw at the edge of the Brentford penalty area. Now the Newcastle fans are just trying to report that Lascelles has got too far forward. It's usually one of the easiest offences to get away with on the field, isn't it? And now Newcastle sending as many players as they can forward to try and press and win this ball back. But Lascelles with the throw. Puts a bit of distance on it, finds Joe Willock. Toney and Willock tussling for the ball, and in the end it comes off Joe Willock last. It's out for a throw to the visitors. Willock unhappy with that decision, but I don't think referee Rob Jones is going to change his mind just off the back of that. And it is going to be a free kick. That's a throw on now to Brentford down the right hand side. 3 minutes of injury time added to this first half. We're into that time now. First half time in the Premier League is at Molineux, where it's Wolves 0, West Ham United 0. It's also half time at Carrow Road, where it's Norwich City 1, Southampton 1. We were just getting some score updates on screen there when Christian Norgard bumps into Fabian Schär, and that is going to be a free kick to Newcastle. That's a strong collision there. Norgard standing his ground, but then perhaps just raising that arm a little bit there to try and protect himself, but he catches Schär in doing so. So now a free kick to Newcastle. It's a long way out, but certainly they can try and think about perhaps laying this off Shelvey to Ritchie or vice versa. Brentford doing what they can with quite a high offside line, and it looks like it's going to be Shelvey whipping this one in. In fact, no, Shelvey just flicks this one towards Ritchie. Ritchie then crosses it into the box. A header from Joelinton from the edge of the area. Needs to be a very powerful header to beat the goalkeeper from that sort of distance, and it's a pretty easy save for Alvaro Fernandez. We've still got 90 seconds of injury time to play here at St James's Park. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Newcastle United 2, Brentford 2. Ivan Toney stopped on the halfway line, fouled on the halfway line, as says referee Rob Jones. Matt Ritchie with the foul. The free kick's been taken quickly, too quickly, says the referee. He's spotted this a couple of times now. Both teams have been affected by this from Rob Jones, where he's just, I think on that occasion he was unhappy that Brentford were taking it from nowhere near where the actual foul took place. Which again, sometimes you can get away with that. It depends on the situation. Depends if you're the home team or the away team sometimes, in terms of how much noise the fans make about the ball not being in the right spot. But on that occasion, Brentford being asked to take the free kick again. It's now a long diagonal ball out towards Rico Henry down the left-hand side. Henry colliding there with Jacob Murphy. And that one is out for a throw to Brentford. It's level with the Newcastle penalty area, so certainly a chance to try and get this ball into the box. And once again, long throw specialist Ethan Pinnock is across to take this one. So last few seconds of this first half now, as Pinnock shapes up with a long throw towards the edge of the area, played away by John Joe Shelvey, and that will be it as far as this first half is concerned. Referee Rob Jones calling time on this first half at St James's Park, which started perfectly for Newcastle United, taking the lead on 10 minutes. Within 60 seconds it was 1-1. Lascelles got the goal for Newcastle. Toney then equalised for Brentford. Henry then puts Brentford in front on 31 before Joelinton equalised on 39. It's 2-2, and I'm back in 15 minutes for second half off-tube studio commentary.